So good evening, everybody. See, the numbers are going up. We have about 70 people registered for this meeting. 50 or so are here now, so we'll get everybody a couple more minutes to come on in. And so as you all remember, as our attendees are coming in, you are not on view, you're not on camera, and we cannot hear you, but you are welcome to use our chat, which will be moderated, and we'll have board members will be following that. And for the open forum, we'll be using the question and answer to go through that. So, all right. So actually, let me pop into chat and see here. So hi, everybody. Yes, and John put up a link to the agenda for tonight. I'll be showing.
I think that just went to the panel, so let me get that too.
Yeah. Yes, and don't forget that when you go in the chat, you can go to all panelists or all panelists and attendees. Okay, and then when you're also asking questions in the Q&A and the question and answer, you can direct it to specific people or to all panelists. All right, and the same in the chat. So make sure you write your chat in your comments to all panelists and attendees. Okay, so. All right, so let's wait another minute or so. Well, we're at the 70 now, and I think last time I looked, there were 70 people registered. So I think we can get started. So welcome everyone to the August monthly meeting of the Guides Association of New York City. I'm Emma Guess-Gonzalez. I'm the president of the association, and it's really a pleasure to have everyone here. We also have two guests from Moxi. They'll be speaking a little later on, and then you'll see if you use the gallery view, you'll be able to see everybody, the board members who are here. We also have Deborah Blau and Bob Gelber there. I'm just on as attendees tonight, but the board, Jeremy, Patrick, Mike, Kevin, and John are all here too. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to show everyone the agenda for this evening, and we'll just go through it. Okay, here we go. All right, so here's tonight's agenda, and we're going to, the main part of the meeting will be an open forum, as you can see, but we'll start with Jeremy will present on the membership survey that we did just this past month. Then we'll have Evelyn and Andy speaking from Moxi. We'll have an industry partner vote that will be done via email. Okay, you'll get an email to vote for that. And then we'll talk about the changes to our bylaws. We'll have committee reports. We'll get an update from Mike about Torreon City. And then the open forum will be where all attendees may ask us questions. And this is everyone. You don't have to be a full member or a provisional member. This is for everyone to have a chance to speak. And so please put your questions into the Q&A. That's at the bottom of the Zoom screen. Put it into the Q&A and make sure it goes to all panelists, and then we will be sure everyone will see that. Okay, and we'll answer them live. Some questions might have to be typed in, and we'll talk to you about Gannick, what we're here for, what our mission is, and what are some of the benefits of membership. And so Kevin will help moderate our question and answer, and then we'll go over any other business that should come up. So just to welcome everybody. Okay, so I'll leave this up a little bit more so you all have a chance to read it. And especially welcome to all the guests who are attending for the first time. Like I always say, it's nice to have these virtual meetings because we can, get more people often that we've had even in our in-person meetings. And hopefully one day we will be able to have in-person meetings again. And because I do miss seeing everybody in real life in 3D, but this is as good as it gets for now. And thank goodness we have for technology so we can see everyone. And I've said many times, Gannick guides are the best guides there are out there. And you really represent the best of guiding and tour guiding in New York City. And the reason I'm saying that, I want to remind you all of that, is also because of some discussion that has come up about as we're getting back into live guiding. And so please be out there, be leading by example. We really expect and hope all guides, all Gannick guides are being a model for all guides throughout our city, okay? And let me stop the share a moment there so I can see everybody. And so we really take this very, very seriously. We want tourists to come back to our city when it's safe to return, and we want them to take tours with all of you, with all our great guides. But we want to do this safely, and we want to do this in the best way possible to show our city in the best light and to show tour guides in the best light. And the last thing we need is to get our friends and neighbors in the city upset with us for bringing groups through. Okay, we want you to be there to welcome our visitors, and we want the city to welcome people back. We've all been hit so hard by this pandemic in so many ways, in so many, countless ways, from, the very worst, that has happened to our city and has happened to us. So we're here, the board is here for you, but we're also here to support you. So if God forbid you should have that guest who insists that he or she has a medical condition and they refuse to wear a mask on their tour, then you have a very simple answer. I am following the guidelines put out by the Guides Association of New York City. Those guidelines require you to wear a mask when you're on tour with me. If you cannot follow those guidelines, I'm afraid you will have to leave the tour. I have the association, I have the board, everyone supporting me 100%. And that's just the way it is. And if someone has a medical condition that they cannot wear a mask, then they should definitely not be on a walking tour. So just something to keep in mind, because I know that's a big worry for a lot of guides, even for some guides I know who are not members of Gannick, perhaps they're here right now. And that's a worry for tour operators. I've been speaking to tour operators who want to reassure their guides too. You need to feel comfortable giving a tour, and you need to feel comfortable knowing that you have the support of this organization, that if you have to say no, and if you have to tell somebody they cannot attend the tour if they're not following the guidelines, we stand behind those guidelines 100%, and we stand behind our guides. So I really feel like stressing that because we all are stressed about this. I know I haven't done a walking tour yet. I think I'll wait till it's cooler for one thing. Really, really warm, even out here in Jersey. So I want to get touring. I want to get out there, but I want to be safe. I don't want to bring something home to my family, and God forbid, I don't want my guests to bring something home to their families. Okay, so our guidelines were written very, very carefully. Patrick and John worked so hard on them. The whole committee worked so hard on them, and we made sure to try to, cover everything we could. But just to reiterate again, we stand behind them, and we expect you all to follow those guidelines. That's another thing. We really do expect you to follow them. And like I said, be the best guides you can be, and be the real ambassadors for our city. And we can, bring it back to what we had. It's not going to be back to what we had months and months ago, but it will be back sooner or later. And so we're going to be right on the front line of doing that. Now I see somebody raise their hand. We're going to be taking questions and in the open forum part, but you're also welcome to put questions in the Q&A and in the chat. We're not going to have people speaking unless you're a committee chair who will be giving a presentation. Okay, but we will see your questions and we will answer them as best we can. Okay, so that's sort of my little pep talk, sort of, follow the rules, little chat here. So we can just move on now, actually, to our discussion of the summary, the membership summary that went out, and that will be Jeremy Wilcox will be leading that discussion. Okay, so and remember, put your questions in the Q&A or in the chat, and we will be able to see them there. So Jeremy, you're welcome to go ahead and talk about the membership survey.
All right, everyone. So first, we want to thank everyone who participated in this survey. It was our most participated in survey that we've done. We've done a few of these in the past. We had well over 100 responses. So I'm going to do a share screen now, and I'll sort of just quickly go through the results of that survey, just so you can see what we did. All right. Okay. Is everyone seeing the survey here? Okay, so I'm just going to go through the questions quickly, and then if anyone needs any clarification, we can do the Q&A afterwards. So the first question we were trying to know is, how do you self-identify in terms of racial identity? This was not a surprise to us given our meetings. It was, as you can see, 88 respondents, so that's nearly 80% Caucasian. And even, when we go to the others, we had, see, Latinx here, 2.7%. Black African American, some preferred not to answer, Asian American, and other than Caucasian, most of them were other. And then if you go down to the, if you self-identify as other, can you please say how you identify? One was European, Caucasian is problematic, Black but biracial, Brazilian, white Latin, Filipina, Eastern European American, so a lot of mix, so Italian, Jewish. So even the majority of the people who did not respond Caucasian or white are basically in the what is considered in a society in the white category. Going down to age demographic, you can see the majority are in the 60 to 69 years old range. Again, that was not necessarily a huge shock to us. Second most was here in the 70+% range, followed by 50 to 59, 40 to 49, and then we had 30 to 39, preferred not to answer, and then we had 2 respondents who were in the 18 to 29 years old category. Next question we had was, do you consider yourself a full-time guide, meaning you derive most of your income from guiding? Majority of our members who responded said yes, 38.7% said no, and then there was a mix in here, which includes, yes, most of my income, but closer to half, and some variations thereof, but most make most of their money from guiding. Then the next question we want to know was, what type of tour guiding work do you primarily do? Most responded that they do freelance work in a mix of their own direct bookings as well as those contracted by other companies. Then we had, I maintain my own at 20%. Then I do tours for another company at 12%. Over the road tour directing at just over 6%. Working for double-decker companies was 4.5%. And then I no longer guide, but maintain my membership for networking at just under 2%. Then we asked if people spoke more than one language or more than English in their capacity. Most members, as you can see here, said no. We had about 30% that said yes. Now, the breakdown of that, you can see here, French, Italian, and Spanish, and French and Italian, those were the main ones, along here with 2 Russian. And then we had 1 each, Bulgarian, Chinese, Dutch, German, a lot of different European languages. I'll sort of quickly scroll through all of them here, where people put in their own answers. Then we said that, pointing out that Gannick has had to use online Zoom webinars such as this for our monthly membership meetings during the duration of COVID-19. Some members have expressed an interest for these online meetings continuing even after the pandemic. Please let us know how you would prefer us to proceed with that. Majority here, you could see it was a bit of a balance, but the majority said that they would prefer 1 meeting per quarter, meaning 4 in a year, to be in this format, even when we return to in-person. Some actually wanted half, that was 22.5%. Then we had 18.9 who said that they only preferred meeting in real spaces. Some that said 15% or so said that they wanted all meetings to be online. And then 11.7% said 1 per year. So 4 a year seemed to be the sentiment, and most likely will be the direction Gannick will move in once this crisis abates. And then we asked, in your opinion, what does Gannick do best? By far, the biggest answer was fam tours. We also had a lot of support for networking, industry advocacy, communication internally, even going to people's second choice, fam tours, still number 1, networking, internal communication from us to you. And then third choice, networking, BAM tours, and communication. So very obvious what people's preferences were here. Go back to those in a minute. When you speak to tour guides about joining Gannick, what is the primary reason they tell you as to why they do not join? The most answers came from they don't know what Gannick offers, followed by they don't care about Gannick. Then they used to be a member, but they didn't feel they got a value out of it. No time to go to meetings or events. Membership is too expensive at just over 3%. And then 5% said that they had a bad experience at a Gannick meeting. And then just over 3% said they had actually a bad experience with a Gannick member. And one person said that they just did not have time to interview with the board. Then the next question was, what is the most important benefit of Gannick's Industry Partner Program? The largest answer was that I don't understand Gannick's Industry Partner Program. That was 39.1%. Next largest, they said that their most important benefit was discounts for Gannick members when leading a tour, followed by finding vendors to use while on tour, connecting with industry partners via social media, then discounts for Gannick members in everyday life. And then we had 4 people who said that they didn't know that we had an industry partner program. So we will be discussing more of that later. And then amidst ongoing changes to our industry as a result of COVID-19, how do you see yourself intending to proceed as a professional guide over the next year, meaning 2021? Well, you can see some very close answers here, but it was a tie between will only work part-time as a guide and intend to guide full-time. Those were literally tied there at 38 answers apiece, followed by cannot commit at this time due to industry uncertainty, and then just one person who said that they will no longer work as a professional guide. Then there was, these are very difficult financial times for tour guides, we understand. Please let us know your intentions for renewal of Gannick membership in 2021. We are very happy to see that 72.1% absolutely intended to renew, but 23.4% said that things were too murky to commit one way or the other. 4 people preferred not to answer, and we just had one person who said that they would not renew. Now, regarding some of the questions with these written answers here, go back up here. So I'll just sort of, I'm gonna stop my screen sharing there, and I'm just gonna quickly summarize what were the most common answers that we received in those categories. So the first question was, what can Gannick do better? The most obvious one, which has come up a lot lately, was the diversity issue. If you looked at those graphs, you could see that is an area where we are lacking, and we were aware of that before the survey. The survey certainly made that clear. The other thing was people seem to have concerns about the way Gannick communicates, not only to our members, but seem to have a lot of concerns about the way that Gannick communicates to the outside world, the tourism industry, potential clients of ours, about what we do. And then there was obviously some concern and feedback about Gannick's certification program. A lot of members didn't really seem to understand the certification program and what it is and how it fits into our organization. There was a concern over that we could do a better job of welcoming new members and sort of integrating members who are sort of on the fringe of the membership or new and welcome them into the sort of inner circle of Gannick. There was another one of being more understanding of where Gannick members are coming from when the executive board is interacting with them. The other question that required longer answers was, what would you like to see improved on the Gannick website? The most common things were that people found the site difficult or confusing to navigate. Then there were questions about making sure that the site works well and looks well on mobile devices, and which will come up later today, better explaining the difference and connection between the main Gannick.org website and Wild Apricot, our administrative backend. And then also a lot of people wanting a way of maybe changing the way our individual member profiles look so people can add different kind of outside certifications and the like. So that's basically the summary of the survey. Again, over 110 of you responded to that survey. We really appreciate it. And we, as you saw, we are definitely going to take all of this into consideration when planning Gannick's future over the next year. So thank you all. And I bring it back to our president.
Great. Thank you so much, Jeremy. That's really useful. And you did not fill out the survey and you would still like to fill out the survey, you're welcome to. I mean, I think all the information is really, really important, and your input definitely matters. Kevin is adding the link into our chat, so you're all welcome. You're all welcome to do that. And so you know, this is information that we really take very seriously, and we read all the comments very seriously as well. I mean, one of my other hats on Gannick is chair of the IT committee, and I'm having a meeting with my IT committee to discuss the suggestions and the questions about the Gannick website. So we are taking everything very seriously, like I said, and taking everything to heart. So right now we're going to have a presentation from our two guests, and Mike Morgenthau will be introducing them for us.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well, got to enjoy this beautiful day today after that crazy storm yesterday. I hope everybody's safe, and I know some of you still don't have power. You're probably not on the meeting at this point, but I hope everybody is safe. I wanted to introduce one of our newest industry partners from Moxi. We have Evelyn Kanakis and Andy Dalton, and they are going to have about a 5-minute presentation and then leave it open for some Q&A at the end. So as Emma said, if you have questions for the folks from Moxi, please type it in the Q&A box, and we'll pose it to them after their brief presentation. And with that, I will turn it over to Evelyn and Andy.
Great. Hi there. Thanks for having us today. I'm just going to share my screen. Just a moment. Okay. Great. So I'm Evelyn, and I have here Andy as well, and and they're from Moxi. So we're a startup. I founded this about late last year. My background is banking, but from the creative side of things. So I was working on innovating mobile banking products and so on. And then recently, the last few years, I came to the awareness that there's this, that the future of work is changing, that, 1 in 3 Americans are now freelancers, and that the current banking products or products from financial services weren't geared or weren't really adapting to the needs of freelancers. They were complex, they were just a fragmented experience. So after a lot of research around, realizing the same pain points and talking to a lot of people, and the same things came up again and again, that this struggle to get paid and chasing up payments, and then this overall sort of a confusion around understanding finances, just simply because it's complex and it's not really tailored for freelancer life. So I then plunged into the startup world, and we launched an app earlier this year. And it's basically a very easy way for freelancers to manage their finances and request and receive payments from their clients.
Absolutely. So Evelyn, I'm just going to jump in here and talk a little bit about this slide. Hello, everyone. My name is Andy. I work very closely with Evelyn. My role in particular is working with our partners. So that's organizations like the Guides Association. We also work with organizations that represent all sorts of really interesting and awesome people. Like we work with a group that represents writers and editors. We work with a group that represents people in the film and television production space. And really what we're doing is we're just trying to engage with people like yourselves as much as we can, learn about what you do, learn about the other tools you're using, how you're managing finances, how you're getting paid by your customers and your clients, and all that fun stuff. So let me dive right in. So what you're looking at here is a screen that sort of shows you our app, and it walks you through some of your functionality. So some of the language might be a little bit geared towards other types of freelancers, but I'm going to try to sort of bring it into your world. And of course, if anyone hears me say something that's confusing, jump right into the Q&A, let us know. We're here to talk it all through. So like I said, you're looking at the app right now, and there's some really cool features that we highlight here. So one is sort of the ability to manage all of your different, we call them gigs here. What I would say here is like your different types of tours, whether you have, one tour that's operating on like you're looking at different food places, and you've got one that's, more of a historical tour. You can sort of manage all of them in the different areas here. Through the app, you can get paid for your work easily and securely. Boom, you send a code to someone, they pick it right up, and they can get paid. And you can get paid right through there. And to clarify, the other party does not have to be on the app. That's just you. They'll get a link that gets sent to them. You can send, like I said, you can create these customized invoices. So whether it's an invoice for one particular project or a particular tour, or whether you have repeat clients and you send them multiple at the same time. And then at the same time, we like to provide, course, a lot of control and transparency over our fees. So we charge 1.7% if you're using an ACH bank-to-bank transfer, and you can control whether that gets paid by yourself, whether that gets paid by your client, or whether you want to split it. And then there's an additional fee on top, whether you're using a debit or a credit card. Excellent. Evelyn, you want to go into the next screen? There you go. And then I think here what we've got is just a short little video, right, Evelyn?
Yeah, so this just shows how easy it is. We could consider ourselves almost like the Venmo for business. So just by requesting money, you're basically just really quickly generating an invoice, and then that fires off to your client.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is just the beginning of our journey, so that we've got so many things in the pipeline, and next week we are actually releasing a timesheets as well. So the same ease, you can then just create a timesheet really easily if you're working on an hourly rate or so on, and that just gets sent together in one package with your invoice. So the whole idea is to create one holistic app or environment that takes care of everything that freelancers generally worry about. Everything from taxes. So, how much taxes do I owe? So we provide real-time federal and state back taxes right through to, tax returns at the click of a button. And then, can I afford this gig? So this is already part of what we're releasing in the next week around managing your expenses and keeping track of that as well. And then, everything around, what happens if I get sick and I can't work and we don't have the regular cash, when you rely on a regular cash flow, this can become a problem. And then we want to kind of explore around, integrating a marketplace. And this is more than just, an Upwork. This is more of a collaboration, because these are around people that and trust in our community.
Yep, absolutely. So what we really wanted to do next was sort of two things. So I see there's already some questions coming through, so we're happy to field questions. And we also wanted to just get some input. And whether you do it now, I can also pop our contact information in the chat. Or if you think of something later that you have a question about, or there's a piece of functionality or something that you think you would value as part of your work that we could add to the app, please feel free to jump in. But I think now is probably a perfect time for us to start taking questions, right, Evelyn?
Yep, correct.
Excellent. So I already see some coming through. Mike, do you want to field them, or what's the best way for us to go about this?
Unmute. Yeah, why don't I just pose the questions to you, and then
Sure.
And then we'll go from there. So the first question we had come through is, what about companies or clients that are paying you from overseas? In particular, Europe was mentioned. If they're paying in dollars, is there an additional fee for conversion? And does the app have the capability for that?
Evelyn, do you want to take that, or should I jump in?
No, well, at the moment, we're just based in the US. So it's just US to US, but we have the capability, our payment process has a capability to expand that to international payments. So that's definitely something we want to look at. And we've had interest from other countries as well. So this is definitely on our radar.
Okay, great. Second question was, if you can just explain a little bit about why this solution has advantages versus Venmo, Zelle, PayPal, or even like a QuickBooks. What sets you guys apart?
Sure. I'll take this one, Evelyn, if that's all right. So there's sort of, it's interesting. So you sort of actually mentioned two different products that I would argue are sort of on opposite ends of the spectrum. So let me start with QuickBooks. So QuickBooks is a great solution. They've got, all the bells and whistles that you would need almost like for a very professional accounting software. What we found is that some of that actually is more, and through the research that Evelyn did with talking to lots of people in the industry, is a lot of what QuickBooks has to offer is actually more functionality than what people need. So what we're trying to do is offer a piece of software here that gives you what you need. So all the different things that we've already have, in addition to the things that we're hoping to add, but without all those other unnecessary bells and whistles that you end up not using but paying for. So that's on one side of the spectrum. Now let's shift over to the other side of the spectrum, which is pardon me, the Venmos, the Zelles, and the PayPals of the world. So those are pretty good in terms of payments. If you want to get paid, like for instance, you're out with your friends and you send someone money, PayPal or through Venmo, something like that. Perfect. But of course, that doesn't have the other functionality that we're talking about. It doesn't have the ability to go ahead and create customized, nice looking invoices for people. It doesn't have the ability to set up, down the road our like expense management features so you can track all of your expenses across your different work and figure out what's tax deductible and what's not. It doesn't have a community marketplace or any of that. So where I'd like to say we fit is somewhere right in the middle. Enough of what you need, but not all the other stuff that you might not.
Okay, great. Couple of questions have been posed about whether this app can be integrated with existing tour guide websites, and especially if we already have a system to accept payments. How do you guys have integration capabilities, and how does that work?
That's actually something we're working on now with recruiters, and this is why I've started to integrate timesheet functionality, and that's kind of our next step.
Okay, great.
Sorry,
we have time for two more questions. So can you just review again one more time the processing fees for payments and things like that?
Sure, absolutely. So our processing fees are when the two parties, you and your client, are using an ACH bank-to-bank transfer, it's a 1.7% fee, and then there's an additional 2% if it's going to be a credit card or a debit card.
Okay, great. And then last but not least, if we're interested, if we have guides who are interested, how do they sign up, and do they need to let you know they're from Gannick?
So the sign up, we will, I think if it's easy, what I can do is I can put our website into the chat or into the Q&A here. Right from our website, you can go right to the App Store. You can download it on your phone. We are working on different ways that we can engage more specifically with industry partners like Gannick, like, whether it's your Gannick and you get a discount or this and that. So right now we're still in the process of setting that up. But if you do go ahead and register or sign up, please feel free to shoot us a note. Let us know you're from Gannick. We're at the stage in our trajectory where we love to just talk with as many people as possible, learn about the ways in which you're using the product or not using the product, liking it, etc. So I'll put our website in the chat, and then you can go from there, and feel free to reach out about anything.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, great. Well, we are going to have to move on at this point. So if anybody has any additional questions, you can feel free to reach out to Evelyn and Andy via the app. And he said he's going to put his contact information in the chat room. We appreciate them taking the time. Welcome to the Gannick family. We appreciate you guys being an industry partner, and we look forward to working with you down moving forward. So thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. It's really, it's really interesting. And actually I have friends who are freelancers who are not guides, who I'm going to let them know about you guys, definitely, because it could be useful for a lot more people. So kudos. It looks like a really good app, and we look forward to trying it out. So thank you so much for coming. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make you both into attendees. So you're welcome to hang out and stay in the meeting. And so while I'm doing that, Mike, if you want to review the industry partner, because we're going to have an industry partner vote. So thanks again, Andy and Evelyn. Thank you so much.
Okay, so yeah, continuing the industry partner theme of the evening, we actually have two applications tonight. Both are tour operators. One is Inside Out Tours, and of course, Stacy Toussaint, the president and founder, presented at our last membership meeting, and also Big Onion Tours. So right now, I have just sent out the poll to all full voting members of Ganec. You are the only ones who can vote for industry partner status. So you should be getting an email with the ballot shortly, and then you can click on it, vote. We'll leave it open. What we've done with these online votes is we'll leave it open basically till tomorrow morning. I'll take a look at the results at that point, and then let you guys know and let our secretaries know if these two companies have been approved. But you always have a chance to comment before the vote takes place. So if there's anybody who has a comment about either one of these companies, you can post it in the chat room right now. And but otherwise, notification was sent out for both of these companies within the last week to 10 days. So hopefully everybody had a chance to review. And if there are no comments, we will move on. I see I just got my ballot via email, so hopefully you all have gotten it as well. So last chance, any comments on Inside Out Tours or Big Onion as industry partner candidates? Okay, looks like there were no comments. So the ballots have gone out. Please vote either during the meeting or right after the meeting, and we will update you with the results after tomorrow.
Yeah. And yeah, one comment from Jim Ryan, Inside Out will be a fine addition, and I hardly agree. I think both of them are great, great new additions to our Gannick industry partners. So you'll be arriving, the ballots will be arriving in your email. You have to give them a chance to get there, but you will receive them. If you do not receive a ballot for some weird reason, please let us know. Okay, so the next part now we'll be talking about the changes to the Gannick bylaws, and we'll be taking comments on that. And you can see I brought in also Jonathan Tour from the Constitutional Committee, who will also, he'll be able to address any questions that you all should have. And so what I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to share my screen again and show you the bylaws so everyone can see them. Okay, here we go. All right, so the original wording with regard to elections. The original wording was that all full members of the association shall be considered eligible to run for any one office. The amended wording now reads, all full members in good standing of the association who are not either at the time of their nomination or at the time of election under suspension shall be considered eligible to run for office. Members in good standing, as defined by Robert's Rules of Order, have fully paid their dues. Okay, so that's the first amendment. The next is the changes to the bylaws. Okay, and let me just move this down a little bit. Okay, so the original wording raised, these bylaws can only be amended, removed, or added to by the executive board subject to the approval of a majority of those members present or represented by proxy at the next regularly scheduled monthly meeting, provided that notice via email, telephone, and other available forms of communications given to the membership a minimum of 7 days prior. And there you can see the amendment. These bylaws can only be amended, removed, or added to by the executive board. Changes will be subject to the approval of a majority of those executive board members present or represented by proxy at the regularly scheduled executive board meeting. Proposals from the membership for additions, amendments, or removals shall be addressed by the executive board within 45 days of their receipt. No vote shall occur unless a comments period of a minimum duration of 1 week shall be provided to the membership. Notice shall be given to the general membership of the proposed changes via email, telephone, and other available forms of communication, a minimum of 7 days prior to the executive board meeting. During that comments period, the general membership shall have the opportunity to comment on or to submit suggestions or questions to the executive board. And finally, a new bylaw was written to clarify the jurisdiction of disciplinary actions within Gannick. And this bylaw reads, the ability to approve, suspend, or revoke Gannick membership or any of its associated privileges rests solely with the Gannick Executive Board. Any such action must be approved by a simple majority vote of the Executive Board. The Membership Committee or any other standing Gannick committee may make recommendations on approving, suspending, or revoking membership or any of its associated privileges, but the final decision rests with the Gannick Executive Board. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing now. And you're welcome to put questions in the Q&A, okay? So we won't be calling on people. And Jonathan is here too to answer any questions.
And if you don't mind, if I could make a comment or two just to sort of give a little background on these.
Go right ahead.
So,
go right
I wanted, thank you. I feel like I should. Thank you, Madam President. So I wanted to just kind of mention, because 2 of the 3 bylaws changes are very specifically tied to changes that are going to be proposed in a constitutional change proposal that's going to be, as per the Constitution, brought up for the annual general meeting in September. So just as kind of backing up a step, this is kind of getting ahead of the process that's going to be taking place in September. So the first change in the constitutional proposal that we're putting forward, we have a definition of what suspension is in terms of a consequence for ethics violations. And so we wanted to make sure that we made it clear what suspension brought to bear vis-a-vis elections. The third change is a reference to the process of making an ethics violation complaint about someone and how that process works. This is an acknowledgement, we believed, as it should be, that the ultimate power rests with the Gannick Executive Board. They're the ones that we have elected to represent us, and in the final say, they speak up on that. Oh, so it says I'm breaking up. Give me a second. I'm going to try to change my connection.
All right.
Hopefully, I should be coming in a little more clearly now. And then,
All right. While we're waiting for Jonathan to come back. Oh, here he is. Jonathan, you good?
back.
Okay.
Yep. And then the third was an issue that the Constitution Committee sort of felt badly about. We recognize that the initial wording of the bylaws was not clear at all, and that this clause had been interpreted in different ways by different administrations. And we felt that if we were doing the work of making these other changes, this was something that really was the most glaring error in the bylaws in terms of its vagueness. And we felt that the change that we were proposing really made a point of empowering the membership in 2 different crucial ways. First of all, it very specifically said that any proposals to change the bylaws needed to be addressed by the board in a timely fashion. And that timely fashion was stated as 45 days. This was something that the Constitution Committee debated back and forth quite vigorously. And this is what we thought was the most fair to both the executive board and to any member who wanted to propose a change to the bylaws. The second thing that we thought was very important was that we make it extremely clear that membership needed to have the opportunity to weigh in on their opinions in terms of these proposed bylaw changes, and that their opinions needed to be heard by the board before the board made a decision about those potential bylaw changes. In other words, we were using this sort of representative democracy to its fullest extent. That the membership would have the opportunity to speak to the people who they had voted for to represent them as the executive board and say, these bylaw changes, we don't approve of these. Before you vote, you need to know how we feel. And we thought that that was the process that we were proposing in this bylaw change. And we were gratified that the executive board felt the same way about this.
Yes,
The conversation that came up regarding this was exactly what we wanted. We just felt that that the proposal that had been made was misunderstood. And so that the conversation was right on point. The interpretation of the change was slightly off the mark. And we think that's mainly because it's been interpreted so many different ways through the years, which is totally understandable because it was written badly.
Yeah. So thank you. Yeah, thank you, Jonathan, for that key clarification. So like Jonathan said, it's been interpreted in different ways. But the main thing to keep in mind is that the executive board has always been the only part of Ganec that made any decision about changing any bylaws. If there's a change to the Ganec Constitution, that is voted on by the entire membership at the annual general meeting. But if there are changes to the bylaws, and often they'd be very small, minor things, that is completely and solely, and it's always been the purview of the board, of the executive board. And the board has been able to make those decisions without getting feedback from membership. What the Constitution Committee did was they clarified that this is the decision, that these are decisions that can only be made by the board, but is actually opening it up to discussion from the members. So believe me, we heard you all loud and clear. We read every single comment. We picked over every single thing. And so from now on, you all have actually more power to let us know exactly how you feel. I mean, none of you are shrinking violets, so I've never not known how everyone feels about anything that the board does. But this is official. It is codified, and so we know what we will publish the proposed changes, and you can all comment on them and let us know. And you can let us know on social media. You can let us know via phone call. You can send us an email. Remember, you can always just email board@ganec.org. That's a very easy way to get in touch with all of us. Most of you have my cell phone. Give me a call. I mean, really, you can do that. And Jonathan, I saw you had something to add.
Yeah, and I wanted to give just a little bit of even deeper background in terms of why it was decided that there would be bylaws and a constitution at the same time. This is fairly typical of organizations like Gannick. It's pretty much what's prescribed within Robert's Rules of Order. And the model is that the bylaws are a flexible guideline, a flexible set of guidelines that is much more responsive to different changes in how things work. You know, for example, it would be easier to make a change in the bylaws regarding the way that meetings are held because of COVID. But a constitutional change is something that only happens once a year, and it is full membership. It's specifically designed so that constitutional changes are much, much harder to implement because the Constitution is essentially the bedrock of the organization's philosophy and structure, as opposed to sort of the guiding principles of the day-to-day workings of things that are happening within Gannick. So this is not just something that the Constitution Committee invented on their own years back. It was following a model that's widely accepted within not-for-profit organizations across the country and across the world.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you, Jonathan. So any more questions about the bylaw changes? I think I think they've been answered, and you should also have typed if there's some of the answers were or have been typed in just in terms of time. Okay. All right. So let's move on. Thank you so much, Jonathan, for coming in. I see you've got power in Jersey, which is
I do. Hey, could I just mention one other thing? I just noticed one of the questions that I guess just came in, and the question was: does membership no longer vote on bylaw changes? And just as a reminder, the actual truth is members have never voted on bylaw changes. Technically, they may have expressed a sort of referendum of whether it appeals to them or not, but ever since the bylaws and the Constitution have been written, it's always been expressly the power of the executive board. That said, I wanted to mention something else. The type of conversation that's happening now is by no means prohibited by this bylaw change. So if executive boards want to have an open forum on a bylaw change in which there's a live dialogue, for example, there's nothing within the bylaws or the Constitution that would prohibit that. If the executive board wanted to vote on the bylaws before allowing membership to read the potential votes, that's prohibited.
Yeah.
Or to read the potential changes.
Yeah.
That's the big change. Now members are required to know about these changes before there is a executive board vote.
Yeah, we had always, and all the years I've been on the board, we've always let everyone know about bylaw changes, but there just has never been any real dialogue about them. So this is much better for all members. So do keep that in mind. And thank you again, Jonathan, for coming in. And so let's
keep your eyes open, because there will be, this is for the membership. You can't get me to stop talking. You should know that. Just keep your eyes open. There will be an email coming out about the potential or about the proposed constitutional changes. And I really encourage everybody to go through that, read it really carefully. We think it's very pertinent. I think a lot of people are gonna understand exactly why these changes to ethics boards complaints and the way that this is run step by step, we're really, we hope, laying it out in a clear, obvious way and in a way that makes a definite improvement in terms of dealing with situations that I think we'll all identify as needing to have a little bit more clarity. So please keep your eyes open. Please do read those potential changes. And I look forward in the September meeting to talking about that. So thank you everybody for your time.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. Thank you. And Mike, I see your hands up.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that at the annual general meeting, which is going to be done on Zoom on September 9th, I believe is the date, the changes to the Constitution and the annual budget will be subject to a vote the same way that we're doing the industry partner votes, via that ballot that gets sent out via Wild Apricot. So in case anybody was wondering what the process is, you'll have a chance to review it, and then we vote that evening on whether you accept the constitutional changes and accept the budget.
Great. Thank you, Mike, for that clarification. Thank you, Jonathan. I've sort of unceremoniously taken it off. So thank you, everyone. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have our committee reports. And actually, so I need to bring Matt Baker in right now, who will be speaking about the awards committee. And hold on a second, he'll be here in just a moment. All right, so we'll go through and everybody will come on, and then you'll have 5 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to be really strict with the time. Okay, so let's see. Matt, if you unmute yourself. Okay.
Already?
We do not see you, but we can hear you loud and clear.
You can hear me. Okay, great. I'm having a little computer trouble, so I'm glad to hear that. Let me just bring up my report here. Thank you for everything here, and I do want to supplement everything with a quick wish to rest in peace to Pete Hamill, whom we lost today, the voice of our city, if ever there was one. Alrighty, with that sad note taken care of, pre-nominations for the awards are open. Vote early, vote often. This is the members' chance to offer their choices for whom they would like to see the awards consider for the final 4 nominations in each category for the 2021 Gannick Apple Awards. You may revisit this poll to vote as often as you like, in as many different categories as you like, for as many different potential nominees as you like. The committee will vote in November based on your suggestions. We will then present the final 4 nominees in each category, and the vote for the winners will commence. The more different members make the same suggestion, the better the suggestion's chance is of being on the final ballot. Example of this, The Pearl Dagger by L.A. Chandler, which won the Fiction Award last year, was proposed for nomination by about a half a dozen members. It wound up on the ballot automatically, as opposed to being voted on by the committee. The only reason that that might not happen would be if the committee deems a potential nomination inappropriate for some reason. An example of this would be that last year, quite a few people proposed Jose Andres in the food category for opening Mercado Little Spain. The committee noted, members of the committee noted, that the food category is designed specifically to focus on special anniversaries and accomplishments, such as when our first winner, Russ and Daughters, celebrated its 100th birthday. So the simple occasion of a chef opening a restaurant, albeit an excellent one, doesn't all by itself constitute an outstanding achievement in a city like New York. The link to the SurveyMonkey poll will be placed in the announcements of the Ganec website this evening, once my computer issues are taken care of. It will be posted on the Ganec members only Facebook page this evening, and will be sent out as an email blast to members, I hope within the next 24 to 48 hours. If you have any difficulties or concerns with the pre-nominations process, please email awards@gannick.org. Again, that is awards@gannick.org.
Matt, you muted yourself. Matt? Okay.
Am I better off now?
Yeah, now we can hear you. We can hear you now.
Sorry, I don't know how to do this on a phone. I'm accustomed to my computer. Awards@gannick.org if you have any issues with the pre-nominations process.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So if anyone has questions for Matt, we can put them in the Q&A quickly and we can answer them. He still has a couple minutes left. And Matt, we'll make sure that Jeremy will reach out to you to help you get out this announcement and make sure it gets to everybody just the way it's supposed to. Okay, and so
many thanks. Jeremy is a member of the committee, and so that'll be easy enough. Appreciate it.
Yep. Okay, I see questions came in. Why can you vote as much as you want? From Lyle.
All right, because this is not a final 4 vote. An example of what I mean is this. Say in the book category, all of the books that you can nominate must have been published between October of last year and September of this year. Well, it's not September yet. So let's say that next month, a new book is published that is about New York and you think it's absolutely brilliant, but you already sent in your pre-nominations. You know, that book should not be shafted. So you are welcome to go back into the poll and add that book to your pre-nominations suggestion. Now, this isn't a final vote. This is essentially just a series of proposals, and you're always allowed to make as many proposals as you wish.
Okay, and Matt, are the criteria for each category listed on the different sections?
Let me double check. I mean, they have been listed on our website in various literature on the awards. I might not have them on the ballot itself, but I can, and I'll double check and I'll add them before posting the ballot on the website in case there's anything that I've missed.
Perfect. Great. Well, thank you very much, Matt. That was wonderful. And so for everyone, you can always send messages to the awards committee, just awards@Gannick.org. So I'm going to add Michael Dillinger now, who will speak on behalf of certification. Thank you very much, Matt. I'm going to be taking you off. Okay, and let me see.
Story of my life.
Sorry about that. Thank you. All right, Dillinger, take it away.
All right, good evening, everybody. So the original plan with certification was that we would be running a second certification program starting about now. Unfortunately, COVID changed all those plans. However, the committee has continued to meet, and we have run now 2 Zoom workshops. The first one was on helping guides kind of look at the way they structure tours, and the second one, which we've just completed, was on storytelling techniques, and it was really a lot of fun. We ran it more as a workshop than as a kind of instruction class. So we were all working together, looking at the storytelling tools and working with each other to kind of help each other create better stories. And hopefully we will be doing a showcase, I believe, Friday the 14th at 6:30, a Zoom showcase with people from the class presenting some of the work they created in the class. But one of the things we've discovered by doing this Zoom, it's really given us an insight into how we might restructure certification program to really be of even a greater benefit for our members, to get more out of it and allow us to actually do more and share more. And we're really excited about that. We're going to continue to meet and discuss the way forward using some of the online tools as well. So it's not always dependent on everybody having to show up at one place at one time, week after week after week after week. And so we're really excited by all of these possibilities that we have. And the committee's been amazing. I can't say enough about all of them, and some of them are even here as board members as well. They've just, their commitment to this has been terrific, and their involvement. And even Jonathan, who was just doing the Constitution stuff, he's on the committee as well. We've got Patrick, we've got Kevin. There's also Kit Garrett. There's Nina Mende, who's the chair of education. There's Robin Gar, who's doing like everything. She's running around from place to place. And who am I missing? I should have written it all down. I'm sure. Vicky, who?
Billy Nemec.
Billy Nemec. Oh, and how can I forget Billy Nemec? Billy actually put together our storytelling workshop. Terrific. I mean, just really, really terrific. We're very excited about continuing to offer these things going forward, and also to offer the certification program in a more in a more robust and revitalized way. So we're really, really excited about it. And I know that there are questions about certification. They come up all the time, and I'm happy to answer any of them.
Well, actually, I have one now, Michael, that was that Bill Goodhart asked about the certification program. And he asked, was it begun in anticipation of the Department of Consumer Affairs no longer either requiring a license to guide tours, or as in DC, no longer testing knowledge as a qualification for licensing?
No.
No. Okay.
What happened is we started the certification program as a way to help guides with their skills, because the test never mentions any. I mean, you could answer every question on the test correctly and still not know how to give a tour. And so the program, the certification program, was a way to help guides develop the skills to really be the most effective and professional guides in the city by taking the knowledge now and helping them share that. But then we did talk early on as we started this program that when the day comes that the city does decide to eliminate testing for licensing, we would already have in place the bones of a structure that could take over that part of guides qualifications if we needed to. But it was really was a different thing to begin with.
Great. Thank you, Michael. Thank you. Let me see. Is there another question in here? Oh, what time is the August 14th storytelling showcase?
We said we were going to do it from 6:30 to 8 p.m.
Okay,
on the 14th. I think we should be getting an announcement out soon, Kevin. So you'll see that. And really, there was some really nice work done there. I think everybody made incredible progress. It was really quite exciting to see.
Great. Okay.
I see one here about getting in touch with future workshop trainings. We will make general announcements to Ganec. We will not be emailing individuals. You will be getting the general announcements from Ganec when we have a program that's being announced. They're asking if they should email us. If you want to reach the committee though, it's certification@gannick.org. That is the email that goes right to the committee, certification@gannick.org.
Yes, and there is no word about eliminating the licensing exam for now. So at least we haven't heard anything to that effect for Richard's question. All right, so thank you, Michael. That was great. I'm going to bring—
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. I like your background. It looks very Van Gogh-y.
It's from your museum. It's from the Met. It's one of the
That's right.
backgrounds.
I think it's the is it the Verplank House? I have to study.
It might be. I didn't look at
I think it is.
what room
All
it
right.
is. Yeah. Okay.
Bye,
Bye.
Mike. Thank you.
Hi there. I still didn't have this. Hi, this is Nina. Hi. I don't have my Zoom right. I go from room to room depending on who wants to watch television. But so July, it was good news. We started doing FAM tours again, in-person FAM tours. And our Gannick guiding spirit, Joe Spalak, kicked it all off. It wasn't since March, mid-March, that we actually met each other in person. He took only 5 people, and it was from Brooklyn Heights to Dumbo. He's going to be doing a part 2. And what he's doing is he's willing to do as many Brooklyn encores, Brooklyn Heights encores, as Gannick members are willing to take them. Though you will register directly with Joe, and it's joesavelike@live.com. We'll note them on the Facebook page and any other way we can announce them. Another tour that we did for the Coleman O'Reilly, Holy O'Reilly, did the Upper West Side unmasked, wearing masks, and 15 people came on that tour. You know, there's a limit. And I understand it was great. What's happening, the Education Corps has 8 members, and we decided out of fairness that only one of us or 2, if the registration allowed, would go on a FAM tour, you know, so other members can, you know, get a chance to. And then we're still continuing with virtual tours. And Juan Garcia Anel did Chelsea Gay Ecology Tour, which he developed as a member taking the certification class. And so did Coley develop his taking one of the mini workshops in certification. So it was great to see the progress everyone is making, developing their tours. And what's nice is you can see these tours again there if you click on a link, you know, they're encores. And of course we have another guiding spirit. The Art and Susan Zuckerman are prolific, and they are doing twice a week Zoom sessions on New York City topics, and anyone can kind of chime in. If you have an idea and you want to join, you can, and you register directly with them. I think they're doing something that they haven't done before. I'm looking forward to seeing it, Hispanic New Yorkers. And one more thing, we had a webinar in the past, group guiding with audio apps, and I understand that, I think it was Patrick Casey and Bob Gelber organized it, and John Semlak moderated it, and it was with Sebastian Frankenberger of Guide Training. And I think that link is still available. It was an amazing session. Oh, my cat is going on my thing. Okay, there I am. Okay, my cat just went on the keyboard. And one more thing, we were very happy about Hamilton, founding father, and Hamilton the musical. And we're going to be joining with Washington, D.C. And we had a preliminary meeting, a brainstorming meeting, where our counterparts in education met with the education committee and sort of brainstormed ideas of how we can join together and work on other collaborations. And coming up, of course, the certification committee did a Unstory New Yorkers workshop. You know, we put it as a fam tour through education, and they're doing, you know, where I'm looking forward to the 14th again, where they're going to be using all the knowledge gleaned in this storytelling workshop, which was really great, and doing stories for members so you can see what we've learned. And coming up on the 19th, in celebration of the 100th anniversary of the passage of the 19th Amendment for women's suffrage, we're going to be doing a share tour, a women's monument share tour of notable New York City women and the sites and monuments associated with them. And if you're interested, we sent some out to, you know, education committee, certification, some board members, but there might be a couple of slots, or if you want to do your own series, it's a project that I think it can be ongoing throughout the year. So we're going to be doing that on the 19th. And finally, everyone has always asked about marketing. When are we going to have a good marketing seminar? And Bob Gelber organized this with the help of Kevin, helped draft the letter. And we're going to have a 3-part series on marketing. With Jennifer Ackerson, or some of you may have seen her. She Tourism Ready, New York City and Company. She was a part of those presentations. So it's 3-part. It's going to be on August 26th. They're Wednesday, September 9th and September 23rd. And it's the first is elevating your tourism marketing. Marketing to the travel trade is the second, and then a Gannick marketing Q&A roundtable where you can exchange questions with Jennifer. And I have a more detailed thank you of everyone participating in all the tours. We keep a sort of an index of all the tours that happen in July with all the tour guides. We also keep a note of all the people who are honorary members of the education committee. So we just want to make sure that you know who to go to. They're our living resources, our go-to experts, and we hope, and these reports serve as a record of their achievement, you know, month by month. So I'll have to position myself a little better next time.
Great. Thank you so much, Nina. And thank you to your whole committee for doing such a great job. You always provide so much for all our members. So that's really fantastic. And we look forward to hearing more about the next things that will be coming up. All right. So Nina, I'm going to put you back as a participant. And now we're going to have, Mike is going to be presenting about industry relations. So go ahead, Mike.
Okay, thank you again, everybody. Just a few quick announcements. First, Gannick member Libby Corridon Apicella. Many of you know her. She's the owner, in addition to being tour guide, she owns Azalea Restaurant at 224 West 51st Street, right next to the Gershwin Theater. She is offering New York City tour guides to come into the restaurant, and if you present a business card, your tour guide business card, you will get a 20% discount on your check. That is good for the months of August and September of this year. If you do not have a business card, you can present your tour guide's license, but they're also looking to, you know, get contact information so they could send out information about the restaurant. So if you do that, please offer your email address to the waiter as well. So if you haven't been to Azalea, they've hosted many of our networking happy hours. Libby has always been very generous to Gannick, and so it would be great to support her. They are open right now for dinner, Tuesday through Saturday, 5 to 9 p.m. And those of you who've been there before know they have a really nice outdoor space. You know, before people had to start building into the street, they had a wonderful outdoor dining section. So please, if you're looking to have a night out in Midtown, think about Azalea and helping out Libby. Second item, we continue to explore possible online platforms for an online job fair this fall. Big thanks to Harvey, who is sitting in the dark out in New Jersey right now, with no power, but he has really done a lot of research into potential platforms. I actually was on a demo this morning about a potential platform that might work. However, we have also been surveying past exhibitors for the job fair to see if there's an interest at this point. Unfortunately, because of COVID, you know, there are a lot of tour operators who are uncertain about whether, you know, what tours are going to look like in the short term, certainly. So we're not sure if there would be a demand for having this job fair. We just sent a survey out this week. We're starting to get responses. So once we see the responses, we'll kind of see how that works. It is quite expensive to invest in one of these online platforms. It's actually more than what our room rental at the Watson would have been. So we certainly need to be make a good decision about this. We've also had potential partnership talks about defraying some of the costs with IATDG and the Student and Youth Travel Association. Nothing's official yet. As a frame of reference, the Washington, D.C. Guild has canceled their job fair for this season, for this year. So they said they got input from their tour operators that they weren't interested in participating. So stay tuned. We'll have an announcement about that sometime later in August. Couple other things. In recent months, we've welcomed several new industry partners. You heard from Moxi tonight, also Trip School and the Society of Illustrators. We also have welcomed a new strategic affiliate just the other day, the New Amsterdam History Center. Haven't gotten it posted to the website yet, but we'll likely do it tomorrow. It's a great organization that really focuses obviously on early New York history, New Amsterdam history. And they wanted us to kind of pre-announce that in October, on October 6th, they are actually going to be having an online discussion featuring Barry Lewis and Russell Shorto. I'm sure most of you are familiar with those names, moderated by Robert Snyder, the Manhattan Borough historian. And it's about the enduring legacy of Dutch rule in New York City, and specifically democratic institutions, the rule of law, hyphenated nationality, entrepreneurial spirit, multiculturalism, and vocabulary, how those are all indebted to our Dutch origins. Now, why do I mention this? They are 99% going to be offering free admission for Gannick guides. We don't have all the details yet, but we will keep you posted. Look for a blast to go out once we have all the details. And last but not least, I know you guys have been hearing a lot about our industry partner Reboot. We just late yesterday got the first draft of the new industry partner website from Sam Cohen, our web developer, and haven't had a chance to review it yet. So we're going to take a look and see some potential edits to the site, and then hopefully launch the Industry Partner 2.0 program, making it much more, much greater value, both for Gannick guides and for the industry partners themselves, sometime in the fall. So we are making progress. It got delayed a little bit by COVID, but we're starting to make progress on that as well. So that is all I have for the industry relations reports. Happy to take any questions.
Mike, there's one question. Kit asked if you could ask the tour operators if they would consider offering virtual tours from our guides until live tours can be offered.
That's a great question, Kit. That was one of the questions in the survey. So we will take a look at what their answers are as they come in.
Great. All right, then I think we're good with that, with industry relations. Thank you so much. And yes, and everyone, please go to Azalea. I spoke to Libby and she would love to see people. And some of you may know her husband passed away. So she would love to have people come in, and she knows and cares about so many of our guides. So I'm going to bring Derek in right now to give his presentation about we are on membership, and we'll bring him in. Okay, so Derek should be joining us in 1 second. Okay, hey Derek. All right. So thank you, Derek, and go.
Okay, hello everybody. It's Derek Chan, the membership committee chair. Just an update as far as our membership, the numbers. We're currently at 376, total of 376 active Gannick members. That includes both provisional and full members. So We do have a lot of new members that have been joining us the last several months, despite of everything going on. And I do want to recognize some of our newest provisional members, Eileen Coloretti and Jonathan White. Welcome. We also have a few new full members. We have Peter Brown, Beth Goff, Jack Reiger, and Tim Ziegers. These are new full members that have decided to become full members, so welcome as well. And just a reminder, the way to become a full member is quite easy. You just have to have been a provisional member for a minimum of 1 year. You also need 2 letters from current full members, and also you need to have attended 4 monthly membership meetings, which includes these virtual meetings during that time. So very easy to do, and we have had a number of people, especially recently, as I've just noted, that have decided to join up in that way. Also, maybe it's a little hard to see, but I am wearing, maybe I can stand up a little bit more, the brand new Ganec Guide name badge. They have been produced, their very first batch. So for those that have ordered them, you will be receiving yours in the mail shortly, soon, sometime a little bit later this month. So look forward to that. And if you haven't ordered your Ganec Guide name badge, you are still able to. We are accepting orders on a rotating basis. We'll wait until we get a number ordered, and then we'll place the actual order with the vendor and then get those produced as well. So if you want to order your badge and you haven't, just go to gannick.org/benefits and then go down to the name badge section, and all the information for producing those or ordering the badges is located there. Also, as a reminder, and there was an email that was sent out very recently about it, if you haven't yet renewed your sightseeing guide license for New York City, everything is being processed online. There are some slight delays with that, but also the Department of Consumer and Worker Protection, formerly known as DCA, they are starting to do in-person by appointment renewals. So if that's something you've been waiting for, I think you have to either email them or call them to make an appointment. But if that's something you've been waiting for to show up in person, be sure to check that out to make sure you do that. And I believe that's all for me for now.
Great, thank you so much, Derek. I'm looking in the Q&A to see if there are no questions there, and just a lot of happy welcoming to all our new members in our chat right now. So great news too about the badges. I'll be waiting for mine to show up in the mail soon. So thank you very much, Derek. Okay, and so I'm going to put you back as an attendee, and now we're just going to get back to Mike will be telling us, giving us an update on Tour Your Own City. So thank you, Derek. See you next time. All right, so go for it, Mike.
Okay, so hi again, everybody. I know you've all been anxiously awaiting the launch of our Tour Your Own City campaign. We are so close. Our plan right now, and of course plans can change, is to launch 1 week from today. So I'm going to share my screen right now so you can actually see the prototype of the website. It looks quite different than what I showed you guys a couple of months ago. We had to pivot and do some changes in our thinking. It's not final. We're still working on some copy. Our web developer is also working out a couple of bugs in terms of uploading tours, but you can see what the homepage looks like. This will be the search bar. This orange bar in the middle will obviously make that more prominent. And then there's also drop-down categories where you can search as well. The introductory video, which we shared with you at a previous meeting, is embedded right there. We have a quick explanation of the program as well. And then there will also be tours listed on the homepage. They'll kind of be randomly populated the same way that a Gannick, on the gannick.org page, that members are randomly organized. So as you can see on the tour, I'm not going to show you the how to upload yet because they're still working out the kinks on that, but there will be a full video that comes along with your login information that will explain how to upload tours. It's a very, very simple and intuitive process. And as you can see, it looks very much like a lot of other tour sites that you might be familiar with. I mean, this is all just, you know, lorem ipsum stuff right now, but just to give you an idea, so you'll be able to upload photos and I believe maybe even a video, and then there'll be a booking button so that people can go from here directly to your site to book your tours. Now, a quick word about how the login process is going to work. We shared with our web developer the full roster of all Gannick guides. So basically, once we're ready to go, you will get an email from us that says, here is your username, which will be your email address, and a temporary password. Once you go in and change your password to whatever password you want to use, you can then start uploading tours to your heart's content. One thing about uploading tours, when you upload a tour, every single time you upload a tour, there is going to be a checkbox saying that you have read Gannick's health and safety guidelines and you plan to operate your tour in adherence with those guidelines. And if for some reason it is found out and made known to the association that you are violating those terms, there is a chance we might revoke your tour from Tour Your Own City. So again, Emma talked about it at the outset. We think it's really important that Gannick set the example. And so if you're listing your tours on Tour Your Own City, you should adhere to those guidelines. And then let's see, one other thing I want to mention. Oh, so when we do launch, we plan to do a really heavy media push. In fact, NYNC and company, they are going to include our press release in their weekly press release that they send out each Wednesday. That's one of the reasons why we want to launch on Wednesday, also in time for people to start making plans for the weekend. So we have a fairly robust press list, but one thing I want to encourage all of you out there is that if you, and I could stop sharing my screen now, if you have local media contacts, and what I mean by that is local papers, either neighborhood papers in the city or township papers or any other media blogs, things like that. We're trying to reach a local audience, New York City area residents. So the Freehold Crier, I don't know who the editor is there, but some of you might. So if you have any sort of in with any local media, not the Times, not the Post, not the Wall Street Journal, not Channel 7, we have contacts for most of those places, but for kind of the hyper local media, we'd love to have contacts there. So you can always email me at industryrelations@ganec.org to share those, because we really want to get the word out to locals as much as possible and hopefully start putting more and more guides back to work. So we appreciate everybody's patience. We know it's been a long time since we first announced this. It's been a learning process for us as well, but we are so close, and hopefully 1 week from today will be the official launch of Gannick's Tour Your Own City. One last thing, for those of you who might not be Gannick members or might be tour operators, you can participate in the program as well, but there is a fee, and we will send out an email blast about that and post that on our social media as well. So that's pretty much the update on Tour Your Own City.
Mike, there's one question from Kit. Once the site is launched, how long will it accept new tours?
Okay, I think I understand the question. New tours can be uploaded all the time. Guides can go in and upload tours. They can edit their tours. They can remove tours. And you'll be able to, if you do a regularly scheduled walking tour of Brooklyn Heights, for example, 3 days a week, you're not going to have to input every single tour. You're just going to input Brooklyn Heights and select all the dates that you want to list that tour for. So basically, until we end the program, basically, we're going to allow tours to be uploaded. So tours will be, though, have to be approved by Gannick administrators. It's mostly a formality, especially for Gannick members, but we just want to make sure, obviously, that these tours represent the best of Gannick. There is no limit to how many tours you can upload, so feel free to upload as many as you want. In fact, we want this to be a robust site with lots and lots and lots of options for our local area residents. So, so that's our thinking.
Great. Thank you, Mike. Okay, so we're running a little over, but that's all right. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to take questions from everybody and anybody about everything. So I see there's some questions in there coming in there already for Mike about tour your own city. So Mike, if you see those, if you want to answer those.
Sure. So I see, is it possible that we could pivot and use this as a promotional platform to help undercut the for-profit promotional platforms, the OTAs like your Viators and Expedias and things like that? We have started to have discussions about how Tour Your Own City will continue to live after this initial push. We haven't decided on anything yet, but the idea behind this initially was to have a way that was fee-free for the guides and operators so you can maximize your revenue in the short term. And then second question, booking will be done for Tour Your Own Cities by ourselves. Yes, so Tour Your Own City is a portal. We do not accept bookings. We're not taking any commissions. The idea is you list your tours. If somebody's interested in your tour, they click on a button and it goes directly to your tour website where they can book or ask you questions or whatnot. This is really just a way to aggregate the best tours that we can find amongst Gannick members, and if there are any outside participants as well. But yeah, it's going to be booked directly through you.
Okay.
So I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. All right. So the Q&A session, Kevin is going to moderate it. So let's have Kevin.
I just want to begin by stating two things. Just tonight, you heard just how much Ganec does for our members. And I want to go back to the beginning of the survey that we did. And I want to just reassure people, we did have our first meeting for the subcommittee on diversity and inclusiveness. Since then, I have been reaching out. One of the ideas was to have a mentorship program in which we could locate some young students. But I just, as an adjunct as well, I'm experiencing this on both sides. Higher education is being hit just as hard as any other industry that's out there. And, people don't have their concentration right now is whether they're going to have a job themselves coming forward in the fall semester. So things have been slowed down by that. But I just want to reassure people that, that this has been, that it's on the radar. It has not dropped off the radar. We will continue to try to do our best to promote more inclusiveness and get those numbers up so that we have a more diverse body of membership. If you do have questions, throw them in. But the other thing that did come up on the website that many of you, I'm sure, are very curious about, and I don't know, maybe I'm opening up a can of worms, but that's what this is all about, right? Where we want to have an open discussion. But you saw just how much we're doing. You saw Tour Your Own City that Michael has been working so much on. These things cost money, right? And so the membership dues fee came up. We understand that everybody's has real hardship and everything, but what we try to do is to take this really proactive way. So I don't know if, I know that Jeremy on the Facebook page has tried to address this as comprehensively as possible, but maybe Emma or the two vice president or the one vice president who's on the call, I don't know if you guys want to, but I just wanted to impress upon our membership as a member at large representative, just how much is being done in Gannick, even though it feels like we're supposedly in pause, right? We have not paused at all. And so your membership dues you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. I guess that's what I would say.
I just wanted to jump in here real quick and say thank you, Kevin, for that defense of what Gannick's been doing. I'm sure many of you have noticed, but we've been doing more this year than Gannick has really done any other year. If I had a penny for all the time, just personally, that I put into Gannick this year, I wouldn't need the pandemic unemployment assistance renewed. I would be set. But we're very proud of that. And, because we realize an organization like Gannick is needed now more than ever. To get this conversation, moving a little further, I actually wanted to take this time to remind people sort of in terms of what Gannick is and what its aims are. Our aims are actually written in our Constitution. So I'm just going to quickly read through the official aims of the Guides Association of New York City, just as sort of a reminder as part of this larger conversation. So our Constitution states that the aims of the association are A, to promote the highest degree of professionalism for those individuals who work as New York City licensed sightseeing guides, and to establish ethical and professional standards by which all guides are measured. B, to promote professional contacts leading to the exchange of ideas and sharing of experiences. C, to cooperate with other professions, organizations, and entities in an effort to mutually promote one another's value to the city and its visitors, and to enhance the public recognition thereof. D, to hold regularly scheduled meetings as set forth in our association's bylaws. E, to provide opportunities for the continuing education and professional development of its members. F, to promote and advance the interests and welfare of its members. So those are officially in our Constitution what our aims are, and I feel that we have more than done that this year. I mean, we've always done, as long as I have been a member of the association, almost 5 years now, we've always done that. It's why I wanted to serve on the board, so I could be a part of that mission. And I'm very proud that we have not let this crisis stop Gannick's mission. To the contrary, we have seen a greater calling in this moment.
Great, thank you, Jeremy. We do have a question from Bill Goodhart, and I'm gonna bat this off to our two task force members, either Patrick or John, and he's asking about schools and their tour groups. Has anything been expressed how we should communicate our safety rules? Some tour operators might be helpful with this as well. Could you address that? Patrick?
Hello, everybody. If I'm understanding the question correctly, when we developed the Health and Safety Task Force guidelines, they were, of course, sent out to any and all of our industry partners, and we have made these guidelines available to the entire industry. We just didn't keep it in the guide biosphere. One of the things we were hoping, and it was mentioned as part of the launch of the guidelines, is that guides themselves would also pass these along to the various tour operators with whom they have worked. This was viewed as serving two purposes. It would get these ideas for guidelines out to an even greater part of the industry, and it would also form the basis for discussion between guides and their respective tour operators as they began to go back to work. So through industry partners and through guides themselves, we were hoping for a greater dissemination of the guidelines.
Great, thank you so much, Patrick. Now, I also wanted to address something that came up on our survey, which had to do, well, two things that I think Michael Morgenthau can help us with here. One is, Michael, can you better tell us what industry partner relationships are? Because it seems that there is some confusion still out there about what they are. And then also in terms of the website, can you just very succinctly explain what is the difference between our main website and Wild Apricot?
Thank you, Kevin. I'm a tour guide, so I don't know if succinctly will happen, but I'll do my best.
You've taken the storytelling workshop. We know you can.
that was in a different world. Anyway, first question, industry partners, what is that all about? Well, it's a great question, and one that we've been struggling with as well, which is one of the reasons that we are trying to kind of relaunch the program with a new website, new design to the website, one that'll make it a lot easier and more interactive for the partners to share information with the guides. I was not part of the committee when the industry partner program was created. Its initial goal was really just to promote Ganec, I think, and maybe generate a little bit of revenue. But as we saw that a lot of our initial partners who signed up didn't renew after a year or two, we realized that if we want to make this a robust program while also continuing to get the word out there about Ganec, we need to make some changes. So I don't want to go into too many details, but there is a relaunch to the whole partner program coming that's going to facilitate much better communication between the partners and the guides. I know a lot of people ask about discounts. It'll be able to get it'll be easier for partners to offer those discounts and explain how those discounts can be taken advantage of. So it is a work in progress, but the first step is, as I mentioned during my committee report, we now have a draft of the kind of revised industry partner website, and from that, everything can spring. So once we kind of get that locked down, we can kind of do a blast out and really try to approach both industry partners that have lapsed and also reach out to new industry partners. I think it's actually an amazing testament to Gannick that even during COVID, we have gotten now 5 or 6 industry partner applicants since the pandemic has started. So I think that speaks to the impact that we all, as Gannick Guides and as an association, have had. I'm happy to have further discussions about the industry partner program with anybody who is curious about it. You can always email me at industryrelations@ganec.org. But once the new program is kind of unveiled, you know, I'm sure there'll be a lot more questions, and that question specifically will have a better answer. So the second thing is, yeah, I've been tasked with kind of explaining the difference between Ganec.org and Wild Apricot. One of the things that came up repeatedly in the survey and in other places is there is still a lot of misunderstanding about what the difference is between our website, Ganec.org, and what is this mysterious Wild Apricot thing. So I just want to share my screen real quick to go to the Wild Apricot site that all members have access to. So that is the landing page, ganec.wildapricot.org. Now, Wild Apricot is our membership management software platform. It lives in the cloud, and it's primarily used for new membership, renewals, tracking registrations for events, creating events, things like that. Prior to this, our record keeping was all over the place. It was mostly in Excel spreadsheets that lived with the membership chair or with a member of the board. And anytime there was a transition in administrations, records got lost. It was chaotic. It was hard to keep track of. So as Ganec has continued to grow, and we're up to almost 400 members at this point, a few years ago, this was a step that the board thought was necessary to manage our growth sustainably. So, so that's where Wild Apricot comes in. So what does it do for you as a Ganec member? It is the back end of Ganec. It's kind of the behind the scenes thing. This is not something that the public sees other than events that are published and open to the public, such as meetings like this. But otherwise, it's really just where you go to either renew your membership or to apply for membership if you're not a member yet. Same thing for industry partners, and also to create and register and track attendance at events. And that, of course, is very important as well, because to go from being a provisional member to a full member, you have to attend at least 4 membership meetings during your time as a provisional member. It's also how we can ensure better attendance at the FAM tours. As you know, there has been a great problem at times with people signing up for FAM tours and then not showing up. This is how we track that and are also able to generate those fees for no-shows. And as has been stated many times, the fees for no-shows are not a money grab by Ganec. It is to make sure that as many people can get on the FAM tours as possible, and that there aren't people on waiting lists who are locked out because other people registered and then they no-show. So, so that's primarily what Wild Apricot is used for. Now, you all have a profile on Wild Apricot. So I've already logged in to my Wild Apricot page, and then if you click on your name, when you see that, your profile pops up. The first thing you will see is your Ganec membership card, which you can download and print and put in your lanyard and show it on tour and show it to other people as well. And so it's a great resource to have there. You can see image optimized for smartphones as well. I'm going to talk about that in a second. And then all of your details. This is back-end stuff. This is not information that is shared with the public. This is not the same as your profile on Ganec.org. Unfortunately, there is no way to integrate the two. So if you update one, you have to update the other, the way you have always done on Ganec.org. So the other thing that this does, you could see my event registrations, right? So I just clicked on that, and you can see that all of your upcoming reservations are there, and all of your past registrations are there. So you can't say, I never registered for that. We have a record. But the important thing is canceling registrations, right? So you can do it, I believe. I know you can do it on the app. I believe you can do it right here as well. Someone else might know slightly better than me, but the important thing is that you cancel your events on Wild Apricot. If you have registered for an event, you want to do it on Wild Apricot. Do not email the committee chair, do not email the board. This is because many of our events, especially in-person fam tours, have waiting lists that are automatically administered by Wild Apricot. So as soon as a cancellation comes in, the next person on the list is notified that they are now okay to go on the tour. Other things that Wild Apricot allows for members, you can see that all of the events are listed right under the events platform, so you can see a schedule of them as well. This is what is embedded on the Gannick.org site in terms of public events. There's a couple of board events on there that only board members would see. I'm logged in as a board member right now. But this is the same exact thing that in terms of the calendar for the membership that you'll see embedded in the Gannick.org website. So it's very easy to find out what's upcoming, either here or at the Gannick.org site. And then last but not least, I just want to talk about the app. I don't know how many of you know, but there is an app, both in the App Store for iOS and in Google Play for those of you who are on the Android platform. It is simply called Ganec. Sorry, I'm just going to show you it. It's called, this is probably not going to work out light-wise, but yeah, sorry. Let me shut off my light. How about that? Ah, there we go. Oh, no, it's not going to work. Anyway, it is simply called Wild Apricot Member. And there you can see all of the events listed. You can register on the app. You can see what you've already registered for, and you can cancel your reservations on the app. And you can also see your profile. Last but not least, on the app, not through the website that I just showed you, but on the app, there is a listing of all active Gannick members. So if you need to get in touch with a Gannick member, you can also search that on Gannick.org, but you can also do it in the Wild Apricot app. So the bottom line is basically the only time that Gannick members will need to interface with the Wild Apricot app is when you're renewing your membership, if you want to change your internal profile, and also if you are registering or canceling a registration for an event. Otherwise, our public face is Gannick.org, and that's where the public can go to find out about tour guides, what Gannick is up to, our blog. And then, of course, there are some membership-only sections, such as the announcements, the job board, and our several other sections as well that have not changed. You know, I mean, that's since we redesigned the website several years ago, everything is pretty much in similar fashion. So we hope this clarified some of the misunderstanding. Oh, one other thing about this. A lot of questions have come up about why do we have to register twice to attend a meeting, an online meeting? And think of Zoom as a building that we're having an in-person meeting at that you have to sign in for security purposes to enter the room. You still would have to register in Wild Apricot so we know who is coming and attending the meeting, but then you have to register for the Zoom meeting, and it's for security to avoid Zoom bombing and things like that. So it's, you know, everything in life now post-COVID is a little bit different, a little bit trickier, but it's a very simple process. I think most Gannick members have mastered it at this point, but the question does continue to come up. That is why we have this two-step process. Register in Wild Apricot, you get a link to the Zoom meeting, register for the Zoom meeting, you can add it directly to your calendars, and then you have the link when the meeting starts. So I hope that answered the question.
Yes, that was great, Michael. We're not going to be able to get to all of your questions, and we do appreciate all of the issues that you bring. You know, we understand that people are going to have differences about design issues or that you need tutorials and everything, but we're running out of time, and I want to get to one of the most general questions that actually came up that I do think is that's going to largely appeal to a lot of people, because I also don't know the answer to this. And now that we have Michael, Jeremy, and Emma here, the question has to do with industry partners going to the job site, to the job page, and posting a job. Can they actually see all of the other jobs? Because I think that is actually, I'm interested if they would be able to compare job descriptions and compensation and things like that. Or is it industry partners, do they not see that back end that's for members only?
I think that's a question that IT Emma can probably.
Yeah, I'll put my IT hat on. And honestly, I don't know what the let me clarify. Let me go to something else. Then let me show you first. I'll share my screen, and I'll show you the Gannick main website. Okay, and you can see here it has the job board section, and it has all the different parts of the website. This is what the public sees. The public does not see the wild apricot side of things unless they log in, specifically look for the Gannick wild apricot site. But like Michael said, that is all the back end. This is what everyone sees. And here are the job boards. So to post a job, you do not have to be an industry partner to post a job. You just have to be an authorized user. This is so we don't get spammed. Okay, this is so we don't get people spamming and filling it up with all sorts of junk. You have to register and go in as an authorized user. You fill in that little box so we know that you're a real person, that you're not a bot. And so you can see, I mean, they're all from March. This is our job board. Honestly, I don't know if the other job posters get to see this. So that's a question actually I've never had. So I will find out and I will let you all know. We are, and as those of you who filled out the survey and you added the questions about the website, like I said, we're going to be meeting with IT and we will be discussing that. We will be discussing that as well. Now, one thing you'll see is in the instructions and tutorials that will also show you how to edit your profile, okay? And so if I go into my profile, this is my member profile, you can see up here, it says edit and view. And so you go into the edit, that's what you need to be working on. You need to be able to edit your site. You have to be your page. You have to be logged in order to do this. You also have to be logged in order to go to the announcements and the forums. So these are announcements, and this is where you can find announcements about we hear the FAM tour proposal, all these different things here, and then the discussion forum. Okay, so you can have questions and answer sessions here, and then you can also have our documents. So if you missed a Virgil, you can go into the documents and find all the Virgils. You can look at the minutes for all our meetings. You can get the assets from NYC and Company, okay? So log in, and then play in the members menu. That's where everything is, the members benefits and resources. That lists how you can get the nice little name badge that Derek showed. Play around with the website. Once you're logged in, you're all set. If you have problems, IT@ganec.org will help you out. And keep in mind, you're not going to break anything. You guys just go in there and fool around. If you misspell something, you can fix it. You could add a picture you don't like, you can change it, okay?
And as IT is addressing these types of issues, the website, the look of it is going to change slightly. That doesn't mean that the tutorials are no longer practical and useful as tutorials, because the process that they're discussing is going to basically be the same. So please don't get hung up on just those little things, because just like I said at the beginning, what Emma was just showing you, that is just one page of a huge project that volunteers are putting their time and their effort into, right? They can't readdress and redo all of that work that they've already done. So we've run out of time and everything, but I just want to say at the end, as somebody who just joined the board and everything, I cannot impress upon you guys how much I really admire the this board, all of the committees that I sit on, there is no power grab. I don't think any of us feel like we have any power. There is certainly no money that's being made out of this. We just do it out of a love for community. And I hope that today, having this open forum contributes to this idea that we are a community and we are listening to one another. We don't always agree with one another, but that's why we're here together. And this is why I'm doing it. I'm not going to promise I'm going to do it another year after I'm done, but that's all I want to say. So it was great being with you guys tonight. I'll hand it over to Madam President.
I just want to jump in really quickly and say that we appreciate the questions. We're always happy to answer them. But a lot of the questions we get about, like, how do I cancel FAM tours? How do I do this? I just want to reassure you that these questions can be found on the website, particularly if you go to the announcements board and scroll through the announcements. Several of the most common ones are pinned at the top, including FAM tour procedures and policies. It's one of the pinned things on the members announcement page on Gannick.org. So, please, again, like Zem was saying, please feel free to go in and roam on the website. A lot of these things have been answered, and we understand that most of our members don't live and breathe in Gannick the way we do. That's probably to your benefit. But, we promise that all this information can largely, 95% of it anyway, be found on the site. We're happy to point you in the right direction, but, we, help us help you by, just making sure that you stay up to date on how the site runs and all of that stuff. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, and Mike?
I just wanted to add something kind of not related at all to what Kevin and Jeremy both expressed. Next month is the annual general meeting. It is the most important meeting for Gannick members to attend, even virtually, because according to our constitution, we need to have a quorum to vote on constitution changes and on the budget. So please, 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 if at all possible, attend the online meeting. Encourage all of your other fellow members to attend the online meeting as well.
And one thing I just wanted to say, and returning to Wild Apricot, I got a question actually from Bob Rice about logging in. When you log in to the main Gannick website, you'll get a white page and it'll tell you to log in again, and you put in the exact same login that you use to get into the main site, and that syncs the both of them together. That's all you need to do. You don't have to go to one and the other. You go to the main Gannick website, you click on members login, you log in, it will automatically bring you to Wild Apricot, you log in there, and then they are both together. You're both meshed in together, okay? All right, so anything else? I think that's it. Do any other board members want to add anything? John, Patrick, Christina, anyone need to jump in? Okay, then I think we can. Yeah, Jeremy.
I just wanted to jump in really quick again and thank everyone for attending this meeting and filling out the survey again. This has been really helpful. We'll continue to be responsive to everything you told us in that survey, and I promise you that Gannick is going to keep pushing strong during this crisis because if we don't fight for tour guides in New York City, nobody else will.
Yes, and that's something that the entire board feels very strongly, and we don't remind you guys of this, to toot our own horns, but just to tell you, we are doing our damnedest to answer every single question, to respond to every single email. John.
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for attending, and I just want to chime in with everybody who says that this has been a mountain of work that it has turned in. I know, when I joined Gannick, I was advised that being a member of the board was not a side gig, as one former member said. So I was expecting a lot, but COVID transformed it into something, we didn't sign up for, let's put it that way. But it's been incredibly proud to work with this team. I have, what we've accomplished has been something that I've been incredibly proud of, and I hope that everybody appreciates. I see so many positive comments in the chat room, so that sounds great. I want to wish everybody a safe. I know I'm amazed that people are attending this who don't even have power. Stay safe, everybody. Hope you get your power back. And please continue to, be careful with this pandemic still around us. And stay safe, everybody. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, everyone. So thank you so very much. This has been recorded, so it will be posted as well. So if you want to rewatch it, feel free to. And remember, always just email us, board@gannick.org. And just keep in mind that we're doing our best. We will respond whenever we can. But if the board suddenly disappears for a little while, this means we're all hunkered down, just getting our energy levels back up again. And but we're doing this for you. We're doing this for Gannick. We're doing this for our city and for tours and for tourism. And so thank you all. We will see you in September at the next at the annual general meeting. That's a doozy. That's going to be budgets and all sorts of stuff. So you'll get the announcements for that. If there's to be any voting on constitutional changes and anything like that, that's the meeting where it really counts. So everyone, please come to it. It'll be very, very informative. You'll hear about all our plans for the next couple months. Inshallah, God willing, it'll all come through. So thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. It's 8:01. I think we did a great job here. The board's all like, woo! So thanks, you guys, and be safe out there. Everyone, be safe. Wear your mask. Please wear your mask. Okay. Bye, everyone. Have a great evening. We'll see you next time. Good night.